pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're short-handed tonight, but the beat will go on. At this time, we will have approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and second for the approval of the minutes. Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. At this time, we will also ask for approval for the financial report and authorization of disbursement of funds.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. Following our agenda, we will now have a public hearing by Mrs. Jean Menner, ordinance 1-2017. And we will now open it, hearing at 7:03. Wherever you want, wherever you feel comfortable.
Good evening. So you have before you a proposed amendment to the Elkton zoning ordinance. This is ordinance 1-2017 regarding cargo trailers. The Elkton Planning Commission unanimously recommended adoption of this at their last meeting, contingent on additional language referencing the Elkton zoning ordinance. And I'll read to you the amendment. So under the existing ordinance regarding cargo trailers, storage trailers, ground level storage boxes, and closed body trucks, the following amendments are proposed. Under the first paragraph, it reads, cargo trailers, storage trailers, ground level storage boxes, and closed body trucks for use between 10 days and 6 months. New language after this states, unless otherwise provided under this section, and then the current language goes on to read, may be permitted as a special exception by the Board of Appeals in the C1, C2, C3, BI, and BP districts subject to the following. And the amendment that inserted that language that said unless otherwise provided under this section was necessary because there has been practice where an applicant would ask for longer than 6 months, and the Planning Commission and Board of Appeals would consider it and occasionally approve it. However, it really didn't give them that leeway, that language in the existing ordinance. So we wanted to give the board a little bit of leeway with the timing on some of these cargo trailers to allow for longer than 6 months. The first item that it's subject to states that it shall be accessory to existing business. The second, number 2, says it shall be placed in the rear yard or side yards in conformance to all setback and screening regulations. And number 3 states maximum placement shall be for 6 months unless otherwise provided under paragraph 5 of this section. And the additional provision is new language. And then the following is new language. Shall be neutral in color with no advertising and consistent with the color of the building. Number 5, for good cause, the board may grant an extension up to a total of 3 years with the condition that the cargo trailers, storage trailers, ground level storage boxes, and closed body trucks are properly maintained and kept in good condition during the term of the approved special exception. Number 6 was the language that was a contingency by the Planning Commission to include states shall be placed on an area graded and surfaced with Portland cement, bituminous concrete, or pervious pavers in accordance with Article 7, Section 7.1 of the Elkton zoning ordinance adopted November 26, 2016, and as amended. And the requirement that is placed on hard surface is a standard requirement for vehicular accommodation areas. And they wanted to make sure that since this is a vehicle, it would be consistent with those vehicular accommodation areas requirements. And as I said, the Elkton Planning Commission recommended approval at the regular meeting on Monday, January 9th.
That ends your report.
Yes, for this one.
Are there any questions from anyone in the audience? Are there any questions for anyone on the board? With that being said, can I have a approval for introduction purposes?
I will make an approval.
Second.
Been properly moved and second that we will present ordinance 120-717, I'm sorry, for introduction. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. That ends at 7:05. And at 7:05, again, we will now have the public hearing for ordinance 2-2017, which is being presented for introduction.
And this ordinance is new language under the reserved section of Article 13, density and dimensional requirements, and it's regarding decks. And the reason for the proposed change to the ordinance, the town of Elkton has setbacks for structures, front and side and rear setbacks. If you attach a deck to a house, that's part of the house structure, and that's subject to the setbacks. It could be 25 feet, it could be 40 feet or 50 feet from your rear yard line that you have to meet these setbacks. Doesn't matter if it's a deck or an enclosed addition. The only thing we don't regulate with that is a patio that's on the ground. Sort of a brick or hardscape patio that's on the ground. The county allows an encroachment of decks into the rear setback line of about 6 feet. And we do receive a large number of requests for variances for folks to put a deck on the back of their house. And it can be costly to apply for a variance, and then you've got to pay for your deck. So in discussion with the zoning administrator, we debated as to maybe how we could make it a little easier for folks to put a deck on the back of their house without having to get a variance, and what would seem reasonable. And we went back and forth with feet and percentages, and what the zoning administrator felt would work would be a 50% into the rear setback. So allowing a deck to extend 50% of your required rear setback as long as it's unroofed and it's a deck or a platform. So the language reads as follows. Decks attached to a primary residential structure. Unroofed and unenclosed decks, platforms, and associated stairs shall be permitted to project beyond the rear setback line equal to a distance of up to 50% of the required rear yard. Any lighting placed on or associated with the deck shall not spill over onto adjacent properties. And that was in response to a comment at the Planning Commission about the light spilling over. And the Elkton Planning Commission, at their meeting on January 9th, unanimously recommended approval for this amendment.
That ends your report.
Yes.
Again, any questions from the audience or from the board? With that being said, may I have a motion for it to be introduced in the minutes?
Make motion, ordinance 2-2017 be introduced for introduction purposes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and second that we introduce ordinance 2-2017. All those in favor use sign of aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. The hearing is over at 7:11. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.
As we follow our script, we will now have the town administrator's report, and it governs a parking schedule, and we're going to have the administrative assistant, Michelle Henderson, to present that to us at this time.
Ordinance 3/2017 is being introduced for adoption this evening. It was introduced on January 4th, 2017. The purpose of Ordinance 3/2017 is amending the Code of the Town of Elkton, Title 10, Chapter 1016, Section 1016-10, designating the parking lot behind 107 North Street to 117-119 West Main Street parking lot. Those are the only changes. If adopted tonight, it will be effective on February 7th.
Any questions from the board? So, how many municipal parking lots we have? I think I answered that question before. Each is going to be identified by an address.
Where you have Howard Street,
There's two on Howard, one on either side, and then there's that one, and then there's one over here.
so, and where else?
Yeah, four, there's at least four.
So they would identify either on North Street or Howard Street, right?
Well, this one was originally identified as North Street, but it's correctly now identified as West Main Street.
Okay, so it's Main, North, and Howard.
No, there are two on Howard, there's
Gotcha.
now one on Main Street,
Correct.
and then there's one, oh, I beg your pardon, so yes, there's
So
on this
right.
side there.
All right. Can I get a motion for adoption?
So moved.
Second?
Been properly moved in second. All those in favor, use your sign of aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. We now have the report of the Commissioner. The mayor is absent, and in his absence, I would like to read for our purposes that a special workshop of the mayor and commissioners of the town of Elkton scheduled for Wednesday, January 25th, 2017, at 12 p.m. in the Elkton Municipal Building Meeting Room, 100 Railroad Avenue, Elkton, Maryland. And this discussion will be the acquisition of real property and its reference to economic development. So again, there will be a workshop then. But there'll also be an insert in the newspaper.
Yeah, I'll have it posted, and we'll have it on the website as well.
With that, Mary Jo, is there anything you want to bring? Oh, and I'm sorry too, I thank you, sir, for the calendar. It's great. Mary Jo,
I do not have anything this evening.
Earl.
I had a couple updates on the Parks and Rec, get this down here. They had a clinic, couple clinics, 19 kids signed up for the toddlers registration, which was a musical motion class, that's what they call it. And then the older clinic was done, 39 registered for the total for 3 clinics. We have 120 players in our youth basketball league and 24 in the high school league. So that's a good turnout, seeing that the YMCA is doing theirs, and still we have enough room to make for some of the kids here in Elkton. The Elkton Middle School program that I ran from October to January stopped on the 5th and was picked up by the Movers program. There was 40 kids that signed up from October to January, and then the Movers program picked up January the 12th, which 40 kids signed up again at Elkton Middle School. So I'll be running that again for the county, and it just looks like the programs are just growing even better. So I want to give a special thanks to Detective Tour and FOP 124, Lodge 124, for their involvement. They've been involved ever since October with the basketball program, and they're still involved even with the county program, which is the Movers program. So right now I had a discussion today, we're trying to bring Bow Manor to bring their kids down here to Elkton, and instead of practicing, just turn it into regular games so they can interact a little bit more in the fundamentals of real game playing instead of just having to practice every time they go into the gym. So that's one of the things. They do have over 80 players up in Riding Sun, so we will be traveling to Riding Sun. So something's good's coming from this.
And those are schools where they
Middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
Great. Okay, now is an opportunity for anyone in the audience to come before us and present anything that is an issue or anything that is great hearing for us to acknowledge. Is there anyone? Please come forward. And please give your name, which I think we already know, and the address.
I hadn't expected to say anything, I just had a question. Okay. I just wanted to ask, you spoke about 2 parking lots on Howard Street. One of them seems to be greatly occupied and the other one not. Is there a restriction there?
Neither one are restricted.
Because I noticed that where the drainage is or whatever, there's seldom any cars parked in there. and I wondered if employees from the hospital or other places were restricted from parking there and why it wasn't used.
This is the drainage, the one where you see the rain garden.
Right.
Garden.
I noticed seldom are there any cars there.
Yeah, and I have noticed an increase in hospital parking in the other lot behind the pizza place.
And it doesn't matter to me, I just heard that, speaking of your designated parking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a question I had. That's all.
I welcome others, that you have any concerns, questions, certainly welcome your presence. If not, a motion for dismissal, and a second.
Second.
It's 7:18, the meeting is over, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
It was an exciting night.